Hey, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. I am your host, Peg. It is New Year's Eve. And for many in my community, in an area where I used to work, 20 minutes down the road, it is just sheer devastation from the Marshall wildfire that sprung up yesterday and just laid waste to untold numbers of acres. Almost 600 houses now have been lost. Luckily, no fatalities are reported so far. It's just a really crap way to end, for the most part, a crap year. I mean, there were highlights, there were some good spots, but I'm really ready for 2022. I don't know about you guys, so I hope you're ready to ring in the new year. I'm going to make a separate video, with just a little, very quick video with just some year-end thoughts, some thank yous, and just share hopefully some brightness with you guys. But this video is going to be this is the last book haul of 2021. And I probably will have another one ready to go tomorrow called the first book haul of 2022, because I have a ton of stuff that has, come in. And in fact, a lot of these things I've kept from you guys. I haven't bought these all very recently, but life has been in such flux in this last year, and I'll talk about that in the more personal video that's we'll put up, and hopefully maybe Martine will make an audio appearance. And we'll talk about this right over here as well. I just love that. That is my Christmas gift, and that is my Gidget, the Admiral. Anyway, guys, I'm a little somber. In this video, and actually in the other video too, I'm going to link, if you're interested in helping out people who are just destitute and who are just without homes right now, there's some Red Cross numbers, some really great local organizations. If you're looking at year-end giving and you want to give to people who are really in need right now, please help the people from Boulder, Superior, Louisville, where my physical office was. I worked right down the street. In fact, I thought the building was lost last night. But we've gone full remote work now. But still, I mean, these are places where I've got great memories, and it's just devastation. And had friends that almost lost their home, and luckily their house was still standing. But it's just been horrible. It's just been horrible, like, end of the year, like, that had to happen. The good news is the fires are contained now, and the snow is falling, finally. We've just had no snow or precipitation. Spring, summer, fall, winter, just hardly any type of moisture. So if you're wondering if, global warming is really real, it's real. And we're seeing it. We had high winds yesterday, up to 110 miles per hour gusts, which is historic for us. This is now the most devastating wildfire that the state has recorded in damages. Mostly, sometimes when we get these wildfires, they impact BLM lands or Black Lives Matter. That's not it. Wait, Bureau of Land. Yeah, no, BLM, Bureau of Land Management. They affect, unpopulated acres of land, which is still terrible. And this all kind of started from knockdown power lines, sparked, and then boom, subdivision's gone. Right down the road, and we were waiting for an evacuation order, but it didn't come this far east. Thank goodness. But it's still, it's just awful. We're lucky, but so many people weren't, and it just makes you sick. Okay, well, having said that, thanks for listening to, I know a lot of you, when you saw my post on Instagram, so many of you reached out and were lifting up prayers and checking in to see how we're doing and if we're okay. I just want to say thank you to all of you beautiful, beautiful people. Thank you so much. And these are some of the thoughts I'll wrap up into my year-end message. So, but for now, let's get to the books. I know you guys enjoy those. Who doesn't enjoy a book haul? I've got my Michigan sweatshirt on. They're taking on Georgia tonight. So for the playoffs, and I'm hoping that we can get to the big game, the big BCS game. So, but anyway, go blue. We are the Big Ten champs. Yeah, that hasn't happened in forever. That was a bright spot of 2021. I don't know. Okay, so I'm not sure how long this video will be. I've got a lot of books. I guess it's just up to me when I want to stop talking. These are all books I picked up from Book Outlet. And I haven't had a chance to show you yet. So let's get right into them. Okay, so I'll start with this book right here. Obviously, this is a well-known classic work. There was a read-along, a buddy read or a read-along at one point on BookTube that I wanted to join, but I just wasn't able to. There were just too many other things going on. I still hope to do this. I know a few of you have expressed interest in maybe creating a new read-along, and maybe we can do this in 2022. But I was missing the first volume. I picked up the other 2 volumes unabridged from Book Outlet as well, but I was still missing the first volume. And I finally got it. So I got volume 1 now of the Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Don't really need to, read the back for you or anything like that. If you watch this channel, you know that I love Russian history, Soviet studies. The Gulag is just part of that. Just the whole, zeitgeist of the times that like Solzhenitsyn lived in and what they were going through, suppression of free speech and thought and everything else. I mean, those things have always intrigued me, and people who have survived them. So I picked up the first volume. Let's see. I'll just, in case you don't know, it says this is Solzhenitsyn's chilling report of his arrest and interrogation, which exposed to the world the vast bureaucracy of secret police that haunted Soviet society. Then, of course, you've got great forewords by Anne Applebaum, who is a prestigious and well-known historian of, let's see, the Soviet famine. I mean, she's written tons of books on Soviet history. So I'm glad I could get this. The next 2 books, I had never seen these before, but they were a nice little set. They were sold separately. And they're from Harper Perennial Modern Classics. 2 volumes, really, but you can buy whichever one you wanted, but I got them both. Look at this. It's called The Great Political Theories. And the first volume, I'll hold that up to you guys, is From the Greeks to the Enlightenment. This is edited by Michael Curtis. And, of course, the name of the series, well, the subtitle is A Comprehensive Selection of the Crucial Ideas in Political Philosophy. So this is From the Greeks to the Enlightenment, the classic anthology of political thought. I'll read this to you real quick. As an introduction to political theory and science, this collection of writings by the great philosophers will be of close interest to general readers. It also serves as a basic textbook for students of government and political theory. Such fundamental concepts as democracy, the rule of law, justice, natural rights, sovereignty, citizenship, power, the state, revolution, liberty, reason, materialism, toleration, and the separation of church and state are traced from their origins through their development and changing patterns to show how they guide political thinking and institutions today. Just a ton of stuff, got Polybius, Universal History, the Mixed Constitution, Reformation, Renaissance, Medieval Life and Thought. I mean, this is nifty. So then the second volume in this, just slightly different color, red to green, I guess Christmas colors. The Great Political Theories from the French Revolution to Modern Times. Same editor. Well, it's just a really nice Harper Perennial set right here. So this one says, this carefully selected compilation of the significant writings of the great political philosophers, scientists, and thinkers has long been an invaluable guide to the general reader, as well as to the serious student of history, political science, and government. Such essential forces as revolution, idealism, and nationalism are examined in detail and expounded by their leading exponents. Professor Curtis has written running commentary that places the extracts and their authors in the sequence of modern history. So it says here among authors in this volume, it's kind of neat. It says that for the other one too. We've got Rousseau, Kant, Burke, Paine, Hegel, Smith, Bentham, Mill, Marx, de Tocqueville, Hitler, Nietzsche, Bakunin, Lenin, Trotsky, Gramsci, Weber, Schumpeter, and Rawls. And that's funny because I had another book here, a Schumpeter book. So, yeah. So I think I got it for like $5-6 off Book Outlet. I was pretty happy with that. Kind of goes with the Gulag Archipelago, in a sense. And then this one was an interesting book. I think this might have been. This is published by Granta Books. I don't know. That might be like a boutique type of. Yeah, well, no, it's UK. Granta Books, London. So this was a UK edition, which you can kind of tell sometimes from the cover. You can really tell when the cover is, not American because it's just really different. And, sometimes the American cover's better, and most times it's not. But this one, I don't, when I looked at this, I'm like, oh, this is UK. This is Salman Rushdie, Imaginary Homelands, Essays and Criticism, 1981 to 1991, so just that one decade. I was just browsing the books on Book Outlet, and this one came up. So I was like, and I picked up, I think, oh, this might be in my haul. I'm trying to remember if I showed you guys. I picked up his, I've been meaning to read the Satanic Verses forever to see what that whole hullabaloo was about. And how it just changed his life, what happened to him with the fatwa being, pronounced against him. And I believe he wrote about that in Joseph Anton, which I have and I want to read as well. But anyway, so I just picked this up because I wanted to kind of get... I love essays. I like reading essays by writers. It kind of gives me an insight into their life view, if you will. So it says here, Salman Rushdie's Imaginary Homelands is an important record of one writer's intellectual and personal odyssey. The 70 essays collected here, written over the last 10 years, cover an astonishing range of subjects: the literature of the received masters and of Rushdie's contemporaries, the politics of colonialism and the ironies of culture, film, politicians, the Labor Party, religious fundamentalism in America, racial prejudice, and the preciousness of the imagination and of free expression. Okay, for this paperback edition, the author has written a new essay to mark the 3rd anniversary of the fatwa. That's funny. Yeah, let's see. Well, this book was printed, this edition came out in 1991. Okay, so he's got an actual essay on the fatwa. Fabulous. All right. Next book I got. If I have shown these books before, I apologize, but I'm just going to go through these. I don't think I have. I wonder how many of my viewers actually pay that close attention or watch my videos that faithfully that they could actually say, yeah, you already did these. Probably none. So we're just going to enjoy this again if I did. This is a great work of nonfiction I've been meaning to read for a while. This is High Risers. Cabrini Green and the Fate of American Public Housing by Ben Austin. I've read a review about this book. I can't remember where I did, but I was like, I really want to read this book. And there's the layout for that, how it was supposed to be. It's so funny. I came to this from Candyman, which is also very much mentioned in these type of works. Because Candyman, the movie, really drew attention to Cabrini Green, and then, just the high levels of crime and just the poor planning around it. Let me just read this to you. Built in the 1940s atop an infamous Italian slum, Cabrini Green grew to 23 towers and a population of 20,000. They've also made documentaries on it, and I think I've watched a couple of those too because I'm really just intrigued by it. Okay, so it grew to 23 towers and a population of 20,000. All of it packed onto just 70 acres situated a few blocks from Chicago's ritzy Gold Coast. Cabrini Green became synonymous with crime, squalor, and the failure of government. For the many who lived there, though, it was also a much-needed resource. It was home. By 2011, every high-rise had been razed. The island of black poverty engulfed by the white affluence around it, and the families dispersed. In this novelistic and eye-opening narrative, Ben Austen tells the story of America's public housing experiment and the changing fortunes of American cities. It is an account told affectingly through the lives of residents who struggle to make a home for their families as powerful forces converge to accelerate the complex's demise. Beautifully written, rich in detail, and full of indelible portraits, High Risers is a sweeping exploration of race, class, popular culture, and politics in modern America that brilliantly considers what went wrong in our nation's effort to provide affordable housing to the poor and what we can learn from those mistakes. So, yeah, that's like kind of like a policy book in a sense, but also just you can tell it's going to be a heartrending narrative as well. People called this place home, and it wasn't a real safe place to live at all, obviously. But they called it home, and then they're pushed out. All right, so now I got to start dipping into these boxes on the floor over here. Let me take a sip. We're at 17 minutes already. Okay. So, I've always been fascinated by Pope Benedict because I feel like he kind of encapsulates the old-time school of thought of Catholicism. Not old-time, but the less ecumenical or we're all one world, we're all one religion type of thing that you kind of hear from. I'm not going to say current popes, but there's a little bit, hinted at there. Anyway, so I think I had originally seen the second volume, and I didn't know that there was a biography out there on Pope Benedict until I saw, I think on Steve's channel, he had a galley of the second volume. And then I saw they had volume 1 on Book Outlet of the first volume on Pope Benedict's life, Joseph Ratzinger. So I picked it up. This is Benedict the 16th by Peter Seewald. Its subtitle is A Life, Youth, oh boy, Youth in Nazi Germany to the Second Vatican Council, 1927 to 1965. I've also known that he's a very acclaimed scholar, whether you believe in his way of Catholicism or his vision of the church. He's a deeply knowledgeable man. So I kind of wanted to get this. Let me just read a little bit. I won't read the entire flap here, but by any reckoning, the papacy of Pope Benedict XVI was extraordinary, with moments of high drama. Not the least of these was his resignation from office in February of 2013, the first papal resignation in 500 years. But who is Joseph Ratzinger? In this definitive biography based on meticulous historical research and many hours of taped interviews with his subject, Peter Seewald shows the exceptional circumstances in which the exceptionally talented son of a Bavarian policeman became the first German pope for 950 years. This is kind of interesting. In this first volume, covering the years 1927 to 65, we witness Ratzinger's early days, living above his father's police station. Ratzinger came to adulthood through the years of National Socialism in Germany. Though hostile to the rise of Hitler, his family knew about Dachau, and Ratzinger himself was conscripted into the Hitler Youth. Joseph Ratzinger proved to be a man of intellectual gifts, and by the time of the Second Vatican Council, which was between 1962 and 65, he was already noted as one of the outstanding intellects present and was nominated Emeritus, or theological expert. This was also the time of the start of his friendship with the Swiss theologian Hans Küng, who was to become his nemesis. We'll leave it there for right now, but, nice, crisp, brand new hardcover. I'll work on getting volume 2, but I need to, obviously I'll start dipping into this. My next video will kind of tell you why I might have to, I might have a little bit of a layover on some of these books, or what do you call it, an interregnum, just a, sabbatical. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for a word that would go along with this. I need a sabbatical on reading about Pope Benedict XVI. Yeah, so I got the first volume for clearance cost. Well, that wasn't clearance cost, but I think it was like $11. Okay. Ooh. Sorry, I get excited. I haven't looked at these in a minute. So I also picked this one up. I think I also have the other one by Mr. Richard Rhodes. But this was a nice, sturdy paperback, trade paperback, and we have Dark Sun, The Making of the Hydrogen Bomb, by Richard Rhodes, and who also wrote The Making of the Atomic Bomb. So I thought I should have one about the hydrogen bomb and the atomic bomb. It just blurbed to high heaven, national bestseller. You know the deal. Simon & Schuster paperbacks. But I like this because it's not like a, mass market. It's wider, and it kind of falls open. It's just fascinating to me. Tons of pictures and illustrations. So this was the 1996 Pulitzer Prize finalist in history. Isn't that great? Says here, in a brilliant panoramic portrait by the Pulitzer Prize winning author of The Making of the Atomic Bomb, is the definitive, often shocking story of the politics and the science behind the development of the hydrogen bomb and the birth of the Cold War. Based on secret files in the U.S. and the former Soviet Union, this monumental work of history discloses how and why the United States decided to create the bomb that would dominate world politics for more than 40 years. So, yeah, all I have is a little remainder mark, but otherwise, brand spanking new. And I don't know, I think today might be the last day on Book Outlet. They have a sale going on right now, which they even label it on the page, "This Never Happens," which means you get 30% off of your total cart. I'm debating. There's a few books in there that I might want to get. I might. There's 2 volumes, if they're still available, because they were on low. They might not be available anymore. They had low quantity left, or low stock. But Martin Gilbert, his definitive history of World War I or something like that, and then the history of World War II paperbacks. These look like a nice set, super cheap. Anyway, oh yes, I wanted to read this because I have read and reviewed Ian McGuire's his most recent novel, The Abstainer. I read and reviewed that for Historical Novels Review back in the day. That was a couple years ago. But this was a book he had written way before then, and which apparently they turned into a, I don't know, is it a movie on TMC, not TMC, TBS, or could it even be one of those Paramount Plus channels or something, but it's called The North Water. It's, set in the Arctic and kind of one of those kind of Arctic adventure novels. It's a slim little volume, super cheap on Book Outlet. Hilary Mantel even said it was a tour de force, long listed for the Man Booker Prize. So what's it about? I'll tell you. Behold the man, drunk, brutal, and bloodthirsty. Henry Drax is a harpooner on the Volunteer, a Yorkshire whaler bound for the hunting waters of the Arctic Circle. Also aboard is Patrick Sumner, an ex-army surgeon with a shattered reputation and no better option than to embark as the ship's medic on this ill-fated voyage. In India, during the siege of Delhi, Sumner thought he had experienced the depths to which a man can stoop. But now, trapped in the wooden belly of the ship with Drax, he encounters pure evil and is forced to act. As the true purposes of the expedition become clearer, the confrontation between the two men plays out amid the freezing darkness of an Arctic winter. Doesn't that sound great? Like, if you're a fan of Dan Simmons' The Terror, which I was, I inhaled that book, and it was a monster book. It was really huge. This appealed to me right away. I'm like, I've been wanting another experience that I had with The Terror by Dan Simmons, and hopefully this little volume will fit the bill. All right. What do we got next? So, it's a mixture, right? We've got a lot of history. We've got some nonfiction, political thoughts, political philosophy. I'm all over the place. And I found some literature as well. I picked up this. I had heard about this book, and I have never read it, but it's like Russian historical, it just puts me in that place and time that so interests me. This is A Hero of Our Time by Mikhail Lermontov. It's translated by Vladimir Nabokov. And I just really like this edition. I'd seen the Penguin Classics, edition, but this one's like really dope. And this is put out by Artis. And I think Artis is, I guess that's here. Anyway, slim little volume. It says here, A Hero of Our Time is the masterpiece of Russian romantic prose that influenced generations of readers and writers. Published in 1840, a year before Lermontov's tragic death in a duel, the novel was a sensation with a generation that identified with the hero, Pechorin, who feels that life has robbed him of the possibility of noble passion. As Nabokov writes in his introduction, Lermontov managed to create a fictional person whose romantic dash and cynicism, tiger-like suppleness and eagle eye, hot blood and cool head, tenderness and taciturnity, elegance and brutality, delicacy of perception, and harsh passion to dominate. Ruthlessness and awareness of it are of lasting appeal to readers of all countries and centuries. Easy for you to say. Nabokov's translation, introduction, and notes make this the best edition of the novel available in English. So says Artis Publishers. This is the best edition to have. So let me know what you think. Okay, we got a little bit more fiction here. You know what? Before we close out on this one box, and then I have another one beneath it, and we'll see where we're at time-wise, let me go back to political philosophy, political science, economy. Wait. No, he was an economist. Yeah, so economics. Sorry, I was trying to place this guy. But this is the book, Schumpeter book I was telling you about. It was marked down so ridiculously low. Brand new. Again, another wonderful Harper Perennial Modern Thought edition. But this is Capitalism, Socialism, and Democracy, 3rd edition by Joseph A. Schumpeter. So it kind of goes with those other twos that I showed you earlier in this video. I've never read anything about Schumpeter. I do have a biography on him as well, so I can pull that out. I know I have hauled that on this channel. You've seen it. So I would like to read this. This is a picture of Mr. Schumpeter. Okay. Look at that. Nice little daisy in his pocket. All right, so what do we have here? In this definitive 3rd and final edition from 1950 of his masterwork, Joseph A. Schumpeter introduced the world to the concept of creative destruction, which forever altered how global economics is approached and perceived. Now featuring a new introduction by Schumpeter biographer Thomas K. McCraw, Capitalism, Socialism, and Democracy is a central reading for anyone who seeks to understand where the world economy is headed. So, yeah, so okay, so Thomas McCraw, I that's the biography that I have of him, is the one that he wrote, which was called Prophet of Innovation, Joseph Schumpeter and Creative Destruction, which won the Spengler Prize. So I have that downstairs on the downstairs IKEA shelf down there. The very thick volume. I think I bought it from Barnes and Noble. I had a gift card. But this is his actual work. So I was happy to get that. All right. So, I read a lot of, I get a lot of book review journals in the mail, and I try to read as many as I can of book book reviews, and I try to force myself to read more of the fiction book reviews because I review and write a lot of fiction and history book reviews, nonfiction, but I'm always looking to see how people in the fiction reviews, what kind of things they tease out when they're reviewing, and so it's good practice for me as well to kind of see. Oh, I have a dog pushing in here. There's a dog trying to push in right now. One moment, please. Sorry about that. All right, took care of that issue. You know what? So I was going through the last and final box, and I think I might break this up into 2 videos. So I'll end on this book for part 1. Please come back for part 2 of this last book haul of 2021. But I did buy the Salman Rushdie essays book at the same time that I bought this version of the Satanic Verses, which is that original hardcover that I really wanted. And they had it brand new on Book Outlet. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I had to let the dogs out. Ooh, let the dogs out. Anyway, so this is the classic work that led to his fatwa, if you will, by the Shah. Not the Shah. Ayatollah. Two very different people. So I've been wanting to read this, like I said, and then I have Joseph Anton, which I want to get into. There's not a real easy way to describe this. Okay, I'll read this to you. Why not? Do you want to hear what the Satanic Verses is about, this novel? Okay. Just before dawn one winter's morning, a hijacked jumbo jet blows apart high above the English Channel. Ooh, great. Okay, so through the debris of limbs, drink trolleys, memories, blankets, and oxygen masks, 2 figures fall toward the sea. Gabriel Farishta, India's legendary movie star, and Saladin Chamcha, the man of 1,000 voices, self-made self and Anglophile supreme. Clinging to each other, singing rival songs, they plunge downward and are finally washed up alive on the snow-covered sands of an English beach. Their survival is a miracle, but an ambiguous one, as Gabriel acquires a halo, while to Saladin's dismay, his own legs grow hairier, his feet turn into hooves, and horn-like appendages appear at his temples. Gabriel and Saladin have been chosen. By whom? As opponents in the eternal wrestling match between good and evil. But which is which? Can demons be angelic? Can angels be devils in disguise? As the 2 men tumble through time and space toward their final confrontation, we are witness to a cycle of tales of love and passion, of betrayal and faith. The story of Aisha, the butterfly-shrouded visionary, who leads an Indian village on an impossible pilgrimage. Of Alleluia Kone, the mountain climber haunted by a ghost who urges her to attempt the ultimate feat, a solo ascent of Everest. And centrally, the story of Mahund, the prophet of Jahiliya, the city of sand. Mahund, the recipient of the revelation in which satanic verses mingle with the divine. So in this great wheel of a book, where the past and the future chase each other furiously, Salman Rushdie takes us on an epic journey of tears and laughter, of bewitching stories and astounding flights of the imagination, a journey toward the evil and good that lie entwined within the hearts of women and of men. All right, so I finally got a copy of that. Thought I should check it out. Okay, guys, so this is going to be the end of part 1. Please come back for part 2, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.